Hi, you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I hope that all of you are well, staying safe, and hopefully stress-free. So I just wanted to get on really quick and talk about something called obedience. And we've all struggled with this in some parts in our life and still are struggling with it. And it will be a continuous thing, until we, go on to glory. So, I just wanted to come on to encourage some people, to stay the course, to stay focused, to still keep striving, to stay focused on the things that you are to be doing. Even, with yourself, if you made some commitments to yourself to do, to better yourself or your health, or the doctor has told you certain things to do, or if God's told you certain things to do, that's something to keep pushing towards and to keep elevating in those areas so that you may gain, wisdom and understanding and stamina and, what I mean, to go to the next level. So it's very important, even if you've been doing something for so long and you're like, I can do this with my eyes closed. It don't matter. I already, got past that. And it's like, God's like, no, he wants you to continue to keep doing what you've been doing, but, elevate it. Just because you've been doing something for so long, that does not mean you can slack off on it. The enemy will try to trick you in your mind to make you think, you don't have to do this today. You can just have a little bit of this, or you can just do a little bit of that. And, it's okay. It's okay. You can do this, you can do that. And the next thing you know, you find yourself slipping backwards in an area that you have already been delivered from, or an area that you have already let go, and you find yourself back at square one. So you always got to remember, easing up on yourself, doing something one time can take you all the way back to the beginning and set you all over again. So that's one of the reasons why, obedience is very important. And another too, also with relationships or friendships, connections, things like that, God wants you to be in obedience of what he's saying and telling you to do, to who to connect to and who not to connect to, because we have to remember that God knows things that we don't. He sees things before they come, and sometimes he will reveal certain things to us, but sometimes he won't reveal things in full, but just enough so that we know, okay, I need to pay attention to, this person or this situation or, this account or, whatever it is. And when God's telling you something, please, 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 if you keep hearing it over and over and you're thinking in your mind, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Is God really telling me to disconnect myself from, talking to this person, or not eating this certain type of food, or to go to this doctor and stuff like that? Note that down, because 9 times out of 10, it's God trying to warn you about something that is to come that you can't see. Because we know that, as people, we see things as fleshly. So a lot of times we go off people's flesh and people's emotions. We can't see what a person's heart is like. So for a lot of us, I feel like we have a very big issue with, with when God is telling us something, but we're looking at a person and it does not match. So you can say you meet a person, just say you meet someone on the street or someone through a connection. You're like, oh my gosh, they're really cool. They're really nice. And, I want to hang out with them and, just get to know the person just as an adult. And God could have been telling you, no, that's not it. That person is, they're jealous, they're manipulative, they're dangerous, they're this and that, the list can go on. But for us, I feel like since we don't see it, we don't believe it. And I know that a lot of times that can get us into a lot of trouble with God, first, but in a lot of situations, because God is trying to tell you something, and then now you keep putting yourself in harm's way, and you're getting yourself in situations where God has already said you weren't even supposed to be there in the first place, and secondly, you weren't even supposed to be connected to that person in that type of way. or you weren't even supposed to be connected to that person in the first place. So I feel like that leads us into situations to where we're going through more roughly than what we need to. It's like we're bringing more stress, more drama, more confusion. And God's saying, that wasn't me. That was you. Because you did not obey me. Now you have to stay longer in sin because you're not listening to me, or you have to stay longer where you are because you got yourself into a situation that I told you to, leave away from, and you're still trying to go off of what your flesh wants to do. So God wants us to obey him because he knows the plans for us. His plans are to prosper us. It's not to harm us in any type of way. God always provides. And if God is not allowing something to happen, or if he's saying no at that time, that means maybe you're not ready, or, some other things have to be moved out the way. There's maybe a detour up ahead, that God does not want you to run into, or the enemy could be up ahead and you can run right into him. And God doesn't want, those things to happen. So that's why he wants us to be obedient and, as much as we can. And, sometimes too, some people say, they'll look at other people and be like, well, how did they do this? And how did they do that? It's so hard and this and that. But all it takes is one step. You're not going to be perfect. If you're doing something 5 times out a week, say if you're a smoker or a drinker or, whatever, say, you smoke 7 days a week, take 2 of those days and say, you know what, God, I'm taking that step to try. Because if God's already told you to stop smoking, say, okay, God, I'm going to take 2 of these days out of the 7-day period, and I'm going to really try and not to smoke. That's a step. You take 1, God will take 2. So you have to put that effort into, something that you need to do, as in, being obedient. So I have some scriptures that God gave to me, to help. The first one is James 1:22. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. The second one is John 14:23. Jesus replied, anyone who loves me will obey my teaching. Mathew 7:24. Therefore, anyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. So there are some scriptures right there. James 1:22, John 14:23, Mathew 7:24. So those are just a couple of scriptures to, help you when you feel like, you don't want to be obedient. Because we all go through stuff and we all feel like we deserve certain things or we want to do certain things. But we always have to remember, no matter what's going on or how we feel, obedience is better than sacrifice. And on that note, I hope you guys have a good night, morning or afternoon. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.